So one of the things that I've been working on in the studio here is just trying to figure out lighting. Like, I want to have a nice backdrop, and you can kind of see what's going on here, what I've got going on. I've got some blue lights and some purple lights, and I'm using, like, I've got this Neewer light. It's a tube light inside of a softbox. This one doesn't have a diffusion screen on it, whereas another one I have over there does. And what I'm trying to do is migrate everything over. I was originally using Philips Hue to do all of my colored light background. And like many of you have discovered, when you're trying to use consumer grade lighting in your set, when things start to get dim, not the people that are watching, but what the content you're creating and the types of lighting that you're using, you start to see flicker. And flicker is something that will plague any set if you don't use dedicated video lights. So I've been slowly migrating everything over because, of course, if it has anything to do with any kind of video production whatsoever, it's going to cost a ridiculous amount of money compared to a consumer grade product. And people say, well, it's this, and this, and it's got this improvement, or whatever, fine. I think when it comes to LEDs, we could pretty much say that everything's on par. So what I have here, I've got this Neewer RGB1 light, and you can see that what I want to do, actually what I want to do is I want to use it on set, right? So I want to be able to place it on the set like so, and then have this light, I want to be able to illuminate the background, but without this bar being present in the main camera that I have over here. So I thought Neewer does ship with the RGB1 this little crate, the egg crate they call it, a softbox. It allows you to focus the light, which is great if you're trying to focus the light. But if I'm just trying to hide the light, that's going to see what it does right there. See, I'm still lighting my background, but it's no longer on me, right? So the way I did it was I have some pretty thick cardstock. I would say it's almost like black construction paper, but it's something I got from a craft shop. So it's a little bit heavier stock than construction paper. And then I got some of this silver tape from Home Depot. And I'm sure if you don't have a Home Depot near you, you probably can find something similar. These are not cheap. They're about 15 bucks a roll, and I have a long way to go, obviously. This is my very first gaffer tape roll, just in comparison. This took me a year to get through just this much in the studio. I mean, I'm a solo content creator. I'm not a production studio, so I don't need tons and tons of tape. So for those of you that chuckle and say, oh, that's all I used, yeah, that's all I used, because I don't need it any more than that. I'm not taking the show on the road. So what I wanted to do was take this black construction paper and use it to block out my light. You can see it's working because I'm putting it on front of there. But then at the same time, I wanted it to be reflective so it would increase the light going up and washing the wall. So I took the silver tape and I applied it to the other side, just like that. And I used a paper cutter to get nice lines, and everything's nice and straight. So I'm gonna just switch over here so you can take a look and see what I'm up to, and then we'll put it on and we'll see how it looks. Okay, so here is the light, and here's that strip. Okay, and I am going to use my gaffer tape, and I will order some more today, but again, I just looked at the last time I ordered it on Amazon, and it was April 2023. It is May, almost June of 2024. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape this to my light. Now, it doesn't look like much at the moment from this angle, right? But if I do that, you see the light is now hidden, and it is creating a nice glow on the background. If I take that off, you can see. So what I want to do is I want to kind of have it so that I'm maximizing the amount of reflectivity that this light is getting, right? And then so I'll probably tape it right about here. You can see the light starts here. Right. So trusty gaffer tape. And I try and line things up, although truth be told, when you're on set, you don't really see this stuff, but you try and be as precise as possible. Oh, and by the way, if you are using this construction paper, craft paper, whatever you want to call it, once you apply that gaffer tape and you want to reset it, you're remaking it, just so you know. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this guy and tape it right here. And now what I have is a light that's nice and occluded when I don't want people to see that light source, but it's also providing a nice cast. And then I'm just going to use a pair of scissors here and trim off this edge so that the light is fully blocked, but I can still access all the pieces for it. The RGB1s, by the way, these are great lights. They're really, really inexpensive. I wouldn't say cheap, because they're not cheaply made, but they're inexpensive. And so I would recommend these as accent lights. I've got one here. I've got another one underneath this table that I'm working on right now. And I've got another over on this side. And they are sufficiently bright. They're about 10 watts each, and they seem to work really well for accent lighting. They're not great for, and you could use them for a key light or for a fill light, but they have to be pretty close to you for it to work. So anyway, I'm going to trim this down, and then we'll see what it looks like now that it's on there correctly. All right, here we go. So we're going to put it in the scene, and I will see if I can turn this. There we go. I'll put it right there. So now what you've got is the light doing exactly what it should be doing in the scene, which is washing the wall, but it's no longer present. You can't see that big old blast of light. And honestly, I used to think that was a cool look, but then just talking with a few people, they are distracting. And so you want to make sure that if you're gonna, do this kind of stuff, that you get some feedback, and then also, absolutely take exposure values of your scene. Anything that's blown out, it's gonna look like crap when you get to the final video and you're doing any kind of color correction or anything along those lines. Make sure that you do some metering of your scene first, and just have everything within a normal range so that you just don't have blown out highlights. But that's it. That's my little tip for the day. It is not really designed for durability. The thought process being that if you're going to use it in your scene, that you are not going to move it around a ton. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself making these again in the future. Also, it's not really designed for lights that are already well hidden in your scene. I wouldn't even bother doing something like that. But if you've purposefully hid a light to get the light effect, but it would be better served in your scene, it would provide a better, if it was brought out, but you're just afraid of having those blown out highlights in your video, this technique might work for you. So just something to give it some thought. It's super cheap. This, like I said, this roll will last me forever. 15 bucks. The gaffer tape was 20, but again, that's amortized over a year. Works out to less than $2 a month. So it's worth it. And yeah, you can do that with any of the lights. I just wouldn't recommend these egg crates unless you're really trying to focus the light, but it's actually gonna make the light dimmer. So just keep that in mind. Okay, that's it for now. Take care, bye.